Okay, we're still in chapter 9 of Book of Numbers, and we're going to be reading the fourth reading. Starts at verse 15. On the day the Mishkan was erected, the cloud covered the Mishkan, which was a tent for the sexual testimony. And at evening there was over the Mishkan like an appearance of fire, which remained until morning. So it was always. The cloud covered it, and there was an appearance of fire at night. And according to the cloud's departure from over the tent, and afterwards the children of Israel would travel. And in a place where the cloud settled, there the children of Israel would encamp. This is something that really bothers me, is that there's always this joke, oh, we were lost, we didn't know where we were. And all these people, even religious people, said all the time that we were lost in the desert. We were never lost in the desert. We always knew exactly where we were. God would show us exactly where to go, and that's where we would go. And we didn't even try over the 38 years that we were in the Torah in the desert. We didn't really even travel that much. I think there's like 14, 15, maybe less than 25 stops along with the 48-year period, a 40-year period, 38-year period. So, this whole idea that, there's wandering around aimlessly is not right. I just had to get that off my chest. At the bidding of the Lord, the children of Israel traveled. I mean, it says here in black and white before it's in the Torah. At the bidding of the Lord, the children of Israel traveled. At the bidding of the Lord, they encamped. As long as the cloud hovered over the Mishkan, they encamped. When the cloud lingered over the Mishkan for many days, the children of Israel kept the charge of the Lord and did not travel. We were just like going wherever we wanted, whenever we wanted. It was only when the cloud would go. The cloud stayed still. We wouldn't go anywhere. It says this clearly in the Torah in verse 19. Sometimes the cloud remained for several days among the Mishkan, and at the Lord's bidding, they traveled. At the Lord's bidding, they encamped. See again. Sometimes the cloud remained from evening until morning, and when the cloud departed in the morning, they traveled. Or the cloud remained for a day and a night, and when the cloud departed, they traveled. Okay, we get the idea. So why is it repeating this? Like, what's the inyan here? The inyan is to get it out of our heads that we were lost and doing whatever we want, and that the midbar was totally hefker. The reason why the Torah keeps on repeating itself over and over again is so we actually can listen to what the Torah is telling us, is that we only did what God told us most of the time. And here, these verses saying that we actually did listen to God. Whether it was 2 days, a month, or a year, this is verse 22, listen to this. Whether it was 2 days, a month, or a year, that the cloud lingered to hover over the Mishkan, the children of Israel would encamp and not travel. When it departed, they would travel. At the Lord's bidding, they would encamp, and at the Lord's bidding, they would travel. They kept the charge of the Lord by the word of the Lord through Moses. Chapter 10, verse 1. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, make for yourself 2 silver trumpets, and you shall make them from a beaten form, that they shall be used for you to summon the congregation and to announce the departure of the camps. So it wasn't even just the clouds moving. We also had to have trumpets that we had to make, which we didn't have at Har Sinai. So again, this is something yet again that was happening after Har Sinai. Is the second year after we received the Torah. This is like when we would travel, it wasn't just that the clouds would move and then we'd travel. No, we also had the trumpets to tell us when to go and to announce the departure of the camps. When they blow on them, their entire congregation shall assemble to you at the entrance of the tent of the entrance to the tent of the meeting. Can you imagine that? Like we're talking about 3 million people here, approximately. If they blow one of them, the princes, the leaders of travel, the leaders of thousands shall convene to you. When you blow a truah, a series of short blasts, the camps which are encamped to the east shall travel. When you blow a second truah, the camps encamped to the south shall travel. They shall blow a truah for traveling. When you assemble the congregation, you shall blow a tekiah, a long blast, but not a truah. So not only were the blasts done, but they were done in very specific and in specific directions and for specific lengths of time. There was nothing that happened willy-nilly like Hefker, the Torah, like sometimes we have in our heads thanks to movies and things that even our parents teach us and things that they even say in synagogue, and I've heard rabbis say. Sometimes we say things that like just aren't in the Torah at all. Like we're just making things up. It really bothers me. But if you read the actual Torah, there wasn't a free-for-all in the desert. There wasn't even that many times that we even complained. I mean, yes, there were complaints, and yes, we did have sins, but it wasn't every single verse of the Torah. Matter of fact, a lot of the times, most of the time, we were keeping the Torah. The descendants of Aaron, the priests, shall blow the trumpets, and they shall be an eternal statute for your generations. So why don't we doing this? Why aren't we blowing? I mean, we do. We on Rosh Hashanah we blow a shofar's horn. but I mean, what I mean, why aren't we doing this? We know who the descendants of Aaron are. Like we know who the Levium are. We know who all the Kohanim are, right? Kohanim Hazakah. Like why aren't they blowing trumpets? Why don't we do this more often? I'm just curious. It says eternal statute for generations. We're not doing it. Okay, we're not really traveling anywhere. Okay, I mean, well, maybe like because it's not Hefker, so that's why we're not doing it. Okay, if you go to war in your land, okay, here's one. If you go to war against an adversary that oppresses you, you shall blow a truah with the trumpets, and be remembered before the Lord your God, and thus be saved from your enemies. Now, this is an adversary that oppresses you. So if it's just like if you're just going to war, just like because you need more money or you need more land, and you're not really being oppressed, like do you blow the trumpets? Like, is this a very specific war that we're fighting here, or is this any war? Because it sounds to me like the verses here, if you have an adversary that's oppressing you, meaning not just like you keep good of enemies, but what are the enemies not oppressing you? It's only when you're being oppressed that you blow the trumpets, it sounds like from this specific verse in verse 9. That's what I am understanding from this verse. On the days of your rejoicing, which, anytime you're happy, not anytime, but on the days of your rejoicing, on your festivals and on your new moon celebrations, you shall blow on the trumpets for your ascent offerings and your peace sacrifices. It shall be remembrance before your Lord, before your God. I am the Lord your God. So why aren't we doing this? We still have Hagim. We still have new moon celebrations. Why are we not blowing trumpets? Why are we not doing this? Because, okay, we're not giving the offerings, we're not giving the korbanot, but so what? Just because we're not doing everything doesn't mean we should throw, like, I mean, we do lots of mitzvot, but we don't have full access to the base of Mikdash. We don't have korbanot, but we're still doing tons of mitzvot. So why not do this? Why are we not blowing more of the shofar? I just curious. I know there's probably people who do, but I'm saying like it's not a very common thing that you hear the shofar blowing on new moons, which would be twice, 12 times a year, and on our festivals, right? So every Hag we should be blowing. We should have shofar blowing. Okay, that ends this reading.